The weekly close came in and we are up for some exciting news. We're watching assets popping left and right. We should actually use that word itself. Some of them are doing 20, 30, 40, 50, 60% for the day and pushing that up to 200% for the week. That's a big thing. You're actually watching a lot of that happening right now in front of you. You're actually watching all these assets starting to take off. Interestingly, if you look at Bitcoin, say the weekly closes in, and when you take that, that does not look bearish. It looks extra bullish. Historically speaking, right now, you're watching for a continuation pattern. But I would say, with all those in, whales playing out something here, I wouldn't be surprised. They will try and manipulate the market as much as possible. Keep your eyes on this range. If they can actually push the market a little bit lower, somewhat here, 35,800, I would say that's a buying opportunity. If they actually do that up to 35,200, that's still fine, but they will do that. Now, that's where we are in XRP, in my opinion. We're still following the trend line, which is bullish, super bullish. Look at the total crypto market. This won't come back for another 2-3 years for sure. If you were here back in this time, you rode that market all the way to the upside. Remember, market does not care who you are or who I am. What it cares is the macro direction and the majority of participants' direction. That is where we are going now. If you zoom in, you will see some difference, some opportunity, some red flags. We're going to discuss through all those. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. When we watch all of this, we do have to understand it's actually easy to spot those. We told you, watch this, it would give you a corrective movement if you really want to, and then it will move higher. If you go into the charts, you will watch the exact same thing happening. Now, we followed it through. We gave you guys the idea saying, guys, take profits. Now we are popping, take profits. But back then it was like, yeah, watch this. This is an opportunity. If we are open to accumulate and ride this, that was an opportunity. 650 plus members are taking benefit of what the SI family is offering, because on the other end, if you go look at the reality in the market, this is what's happening. When I'm trading, I do give you guys the alerts. When I'm opening a trade, when I'm closing a trade, I give you guys what I do. But you also get all this opportunity calls. If you don't want to go leverage, some of these are like stunning opportunities. Now, why is that happening? You need to ask that question. The market as a whole is popping, and if you actually focus on the altcoin side of things, this is where we are. We are just breaching through one range. Momentum should start here. If I'm looking at this personally for my portfolio, now we are doing great, not just the long-term bags which we have accumulated for a long period of time, but also the short term. I showed you guys this yesterday. We're already up plus 200% for the trading bag in last 30 days. The market is just getting started. If you go back in history, you already know what happens here is not the big deal. What comes after that is the big deal. You don't want to try and catch the bottom. Great. You don't want to try catch the top. It's okay. It's cool. Get something in between. You would still do magnificently. This market is going to make a lot of people rich if they do have two things. One, patience. Two, discipline. Now, yeah, you also need to know which asset you have to ride on. Otherwise, it's going to be a trap. But now, for me, majority of my portfolio on the long-term bag is XRP. So when I'm looking at that, I would actually personally go here, look at a weekly chart and ask the direction, where the hell am I going? It still looks fine. We are above the moving average. It still looks good. So on a macro, I understand this is still trending up. The entire market is still trending up. So it's in a favor. On a short term, I'm looking at this. I'm asking that question to myself. Okay, there's a daily chart. So I'm breaking it down slowly. we're still here. The MACD shows I want to cross to the downside. So I'm like, okay, that does not look good. But there are times where the MACD kind of just show you I'm about to cross to the downside and then cross back to the upside or bounce back to the upside. We have recently seen that in a lot of different assets. But what's more important here is breaking things down, getting a little bit more clarity of what's happening. When we look at that, we have to agree on one point. Say if you zoom a little bit in than a daily and you reach a 12-hour chart, this trend line looks valid. It's fine. So will we actually get a break to the downside? A lot of people are still looking for that. I would say, okay, this is the market. No one knows how perfectly it's going to work out, but that's the short term. You actually understand the long term though. When you look for a long-term chart, you're like, okay, I'm cool with this. This is the direction we're going in. And I gave you guys my thought process before. I'm like, by mid-December to early Jan, we are watching the RSI coming here. That's what I think. Maybe I'm wrong. But I personally think that, and maybe 3-4 weeks back, I told you guys, that's what I'm looking at. So I was not looking at XRP popping here. Why? Because we already had some move in the market when the market was slow. Now the market is taking off and we are slowing down. Why? There's a lot of people who entered into XRP with this hype. They slowly accumulated in here and now they're watching a lot of other assets popping and they're jumping in, jumping out from different assets, trying to get some of that gain. It's risky. It's highly risky. If you do that correctly, you need to understand majority still is here. At least if I'm doing it, I would do that. Majority is still in the XRP. You take a small portion to trade with balanced risk, not that 10, 20, 30, 40, 50x, leverage. I wouldn't do that because this is a market where whales and financial institutions control it. It's not highly regulated. They can manipulate the market in any ways they want. And they will do that for sure. They really don't want you, me, and others making a lot of money, especially in just next 1 year when I think there is going to be a huge opportunity where a lot of us would really make money. Now, the question is, will all of us make money? I really don't think so because the hype is still there. Say XRP is topping off, it's around $15, $14. Some will say, no, I'm going to only cash out at $100. Some would say, I'm looking at $1,000. So the hype time is kind of taking a lot of people away from the reality. Then there would be other set who would be like, no, the price is going to only go $5, $6. They'll actually cash out. But for them, it's okay. If they bought at 0.3, at that time, they are already 20x. It's fine. Even if they miss the top, they still take a decent chunk out. What you need to ask yourself is on which side you're going to be. You don't really want to be on the hype train. You want to be practical. You want to understand what the market has done historically and what it may do now. While we focus on the weekly, I'll also, before we actually dive a little bit more into that, I would say let's actually look at the monthly first. What does the monthly chart show you? If it's me, I would personally argue that, okay, we actually had a breakout. We did retest. Now we are slowly coming back up. So on a short term, if you actually zoom in on that, you'll actually observe something. What is it? Say you put that on a line chart and remove the lines. It, for me, looks like this. Say on a weekly and a monthly, this is the idea. You had a breakout. You retested that. You're trying to bounce. This is your resistance. Great. You go on a weekly and you're looking at that. It does look attractive. Why? Because your support range is still active. You're above that. You did get a fake out to the downside, but usually whenever you get a fake out to the downside, most likely next time you're going much higher than that. Say we'll actually plot a line a little bit more clear and say this is going to be the case we are looking at. Now, this small glitch here can make a lot of people uncomfortable because on the other end, they're watching a lot of these assets are running up. So that is where I say, guys, watch this. We are fine. We only have to understand that your emotions should not be the monkey jumping thing. You want to trade? Great. Trade. Maybe using 5 or 10% of your portfolio. Don't take everything for gambling. You don't want to do that. Believe me, I've gone through the crypto market in the last 7 years. I've learned from the hard mistakes. So right now I'm saying, okay, we have that portion where the market is going to go up. We're doing fine. Just I showed you, yeah, you can do this. It's completely fine. You don't actually have to take 20, 30, 40x leverage to do that. But you don't want to move around from your macro direction. That's what you're following. So for me, I'm like, okay, this is where we are. So when this actually pops and you've slowed down here, take your profits. Maybe it's at 10x, maybe it's at 50x. No one knows. We will follow the market and update you what we think is happening. And when I cash out, especially, I'll tell you guys. Just if you're in the alerts, you get it a little bit more earlier with the accurate timing, like 1.91 we sold and informed you guys. And all of them who had been in the SI family knew that. Now, if you want to join them, you can actually use Patreon. The link is given in the description if you're watching in YouTube. If you are in Twitter, look at the bio. It's there. You can reach me there. Now, when we actually look at that, a lot of people still ask the question like, okay, can we really do that? I'm like, yeah, fine. Doubts will still be there. People will still have all those doubts. That's like everything in life. When you go to gym, it doesn't actually come out the next day. When you plant a tree, it doesn't come out the next day. Same thing. A lot of people will judge you, doubt you. All of that will happen. But look at what's happening on this aisle. This is XRP to Bitcoin, though not dollar, which is a devalued asset, or at least being debased right now by the governments across the globe. Here, for me, I'm like, okay, historically, when you have actually done this, I would actually say, okay, this is what's going to happen next. Great. That was a time when we popped in XRP. So if we are going to bounce, say the least, keep it least, we're going to actually move in a little bit compared to Bitcoin, a 50% move against Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin is about to go to a 80 or 90,000 from where it is right now, it's going to do a 3x. We're going to do 50% more than that. Great. We're going to do somewhere like 4.55x on the short term. Where does that take XRP in terms of the price action? Now that's just one factor you're trying to put in. That still takes you close to the all-time highs. Close to the all-time highs. That's something important to know, because that is where you see FOMO coming into the market. You don't want to jump around at that time. You don't want to miss this big leg. I don't know how many times we'll repeat this, but guys, this kind of happens for a week or two. Done. This kind of happens for a week and it's done. So if you miss that particular week, majority of the ROI is done. Let me elaborate. Say if you did ride the market from this top to this top, you would have got 200%. Great. But if you did miss that first leg, what do you get? 80%. That's a big difference in my opinion. Then if you actually take the next leg up, say from here till this top, that's 370%. But if you do enter the first run, that's 80%. But if you do hold on through the volatility, that's a 10x. There's a huge difference. For some, that's life-changing wealth entering into their pockets. If you do it correctly, we are right now going through, I don't know how many of these opportunities which are being posted are now breaking through our targets, informing, guys, look at this. It's breaking through our targets. Guys, watch this. Guys, watch this. We are now in that phase. Why? Those people who are jumping in new, they're asking like, okay, there's a lot of profit taking happening. Why is that? I'm like, yeah, because we've been doubling down on a lot of different trades last 2-3 months. That's the hard part. When people see the success on the other end, they don't see what they do before that comes in. You have to first plant the seeds. And if you haven't done that yet, now you have an opportunity. Don't jump and follow. Grab the popping candles. You don't want to chase the green candles, believe me. Short term, long term, whatever, don't do that. That's emotion. That's FOMO. You don't want to be on that end. Rather, you want to take this opportunity. When the market shows you, whoa, that's something big coming in, you want to ride that opportunity. We hit all of these targets. We hit all of them. Now, these are short-term targets for sure. Short-term possibilities. Within a month, it's completely materialized. Now, we don't go 10x, 20x leverage. We are doing this. Why is that? Because the market shows you can do this. The way is open. You can walk through it. But if you take a big stick and try to walk through that door, it's going to be hard for you to do that. So you want to make sure you're not taking too big of a bag trying to run through it in terms of leverage. Otherwise, intermediately, there would be shakeouts. It's like a game where the whales and financial institutions will regularly try and shake you out. You don't want to be shaken out. You want to understand the long-term picture. There will be corrections coming in. At one point, we'll watch that. We'll update that. Whenever I see something, I'll inform you guys right away. When I'm taking profits, when I'm entering into different trades, you guys know that. So guys, if you actually received value for your time, please smash that like button for me. That supports the growth of this channel. We can spread this message as much as possible and let other people know. Opportunity is here, maybe for next 3 months, maybe for next 6 months. You don't actually see these opportunities coming every now and then. This come in for 3 years gap, 4 years gap. You want to make sure you seize that opportunity. If you want to get on with a one-on-one session with me, again, jump into the one-on-one sessions using the Patreon link. I'll meet you guys in the next video. Bye for now.